Live from the 607, it's the Ocho Duro Parlay Hour, where we're talking everything movies, TV, comics, and entertainment. Join in the conversation on social media with the hashtag ODPH, because here we go. Welcome to a very special edition of FLZ Presents. My name is Ken. You know me as the host of the ODPH podcast. I'm also the editor-in-chief here at FLZ. To my left, you're right at home. He's one of our featured editors here at FLZ. You know him from 607 TWS, The Wrestling Show. And, of course, you know him every Wednesday for dropping all types of reviews on New Comic Book Day. Please give a warm welcome to Rich.
That is right. I am ready to have some fun, though, because it is no longer New Comic Book Day. It is Superguy Day.
It is, because February 10th on the calendar is Superguy Day. Now, if you're not familiar with the Kickstarter sensation that came out last year, you want to get familiar with it real quick. And trust me, we got the review up for Superguy 1 on fanlightzone.com. So check that out. And the QR code that we've had on the website as well, so you don't miss the link for the issue that everybody's going to be talking about. Now, I could shill it pretty well. Rich can shill it pretty good, but we have a couple guys on the line that can definitely talk about it. So please give a warm welcome to the creative team behind Superguy 2, Anthony Iannaccio and Joey Murphy. Guys, what is going on?
Hey, what's up?
Hello.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for coming on the show. Obviously, you could tell we're super excited to talk Superguy, because let's face it, this has been an indie book that's been generating so much buzz. And even going to New York Comic Con last year, it was getting talked around the tables when we were going to, such of our friends as Joey Esposito and Sean Von Gorman of comics,
yes,
from the Pedestrian, obviously.
Love those guys.
Yes. So obviously this book is not your average superhero story, but let's get into it. How did this whole Superguy universe come to be?
So back in, I guess it was 2023, there was an anthology opportunity. It was called the Unknown Heroes Anthology. And the organizers of that, James Santana, Hunter Van Leerop, Hunter reached out to me. He gave me an opportunity to do a story in the anthology. It's a 10-page. The parameters were that it was a 10-page story, and the topic was superhero team up. So based off of that, I came up with a few ideas, but did not have an artist. But I did know that I loved Joey's art. We'd been talking through our friend Jake. Joey posts a lot of great stuff on his Instagram at Ryan's Belt, and his art to me was some of the coolest, some of the most original I had seen. And we just got along really well. So I took a shot, because finding an artist, that's one of the hardest things as an indie writer. I think, especially when you're starting out, like where a lot of people ask, where do I find an artist? And I had that same question, but I always go with my gut. And my first gut instinct was to ask Joey, and he was super on board. And he could definitely tell his part of the story from there. But I had those few ideas, and Superguy was pretty much at the top of my list of ideas. And it was Joey's, I think, top pick too. And from there, we just sparked.
That's awesome.
Like he sent me a few of them. I don't even remember what the other options were, because Superguy just stuck out so hard. And I knew that had to be the one. That was the only choice. And here we go.
Yeah. So coming into the first issue is already out. We have the background. What is so as the world as a whole, what is the as I like to always get the famous elevator pitch for Superguy?
Sure. So Superguy, the way I like to look at Superguy is, what if someone like me, just anybody on this podcast right now, what if we all got superpowers, the powers of Superman? Does that automatically mean that we're going to just save the day? When have we went out and saved the day? So, I'm not that kind of person. If I could help someone, sure. But what if I didn't want to do that, and I just want to sit home and chill out, but to an extreme, right? So basically, what if Superman was lazy, not evil, right? I feel like there's so many what if Superman was evil stories, but I've never really seen a what if Superman was a lazy story, and it all goes from there.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I was going to say, I love that. And not to spoil anything, but any superhero who's in a bathrobe and underwear for most of an issue is definitely hitting the mark.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's always relatable. I mean, that's the one thing about doing superhero stories, that as a reader, you always kind of want to find some way to connect. And Superguy is a very relatable character, because like you touched upon, it's just when an average person gets powers, what are you going to do? And not everybody has that Peter Parker moment. With great power comes great responsibility. It's like with great power comes great whatever. And,
I like that.
feel free to use that. It's one of those situations where you want to have that connection, and especially with the characters you have with this. I mean, Superguy, the real hero of the book, let's face it, is Robot Guy. I don't think there's
100%.
any question about that. And then, I mean, all the other cast of characters that you have included for issue 1 there. I mean, working on these characters, which one was the one that surprised you most in the creative process for both?
Well, I think like, I don't know about design wise, but I found that as I was going on, that Robot Guy got more and more fun and expressive to draw as I went. And he was already kind of like my favorite as I started, but like by the end, like he was solidified as like my top guy. And I kind of put a little bit of myself into him, I think. But I would have to say Robot Guy for me was the most surprising.
Right.
Yeah, and same for me, because it was everything with Superguy was always a very basic idea, because I had 10 pages with the original story, so I wanted to just do like a parody, but like put as much in as possible. So in the one shot that started the story, right, Superguy is he's supposed to save the president's daughter from aliens who have kidnapped her and want to destroy the world, but Robot Guy is leading that. He gets struck by lightning, reprogrammed. Now he's Superguy's robot sidekick. And, I just had the idea of a very, very basic, I'm an evil robot from space. I'm coming to Earth. But as we went from that 10 pager to 28 pages and, the idea of it being like 4 issues and obviously beyond that, it was a back and forth process, like talking to Joey, like what makes sense about Robot Guy. Like, yes, I wrote some stuff in the script and like we bounce off of each other, but there was a lot of like offline discussions about like who are these characters, and it's not like I'm saying, oh, Joey, who is Robot Guy? Not like that. It's just like as like Joey is drawing and as I'm writing, like they sort of come to life. I don't want that to sound like so corny and hippy dippy, but like they kind of do.
That's true.
Right? Like and Robot Guy was like that guy. Like I like without question, I knew Joey would have said that too if you asked me first. Like because there's just something about like robots in general, also I guess, in like fiction, where like really memorable ones have like these qualities that like are almost human, I guess, or like I guess that's why we like going back to relating to a character. And yeah, I put a lot of myself in Robot Guy too. So like maybe that's what surprises us, Joey, that we're like subconsciously creating us in Robot Guy.
There's a surprising amount of humanity in that little metal robot.
Yeah.
Which is funny with your description of being basically Superguy is Superman if lazy. I kind of look at Robot Guy as basically being like Bender if he wasn't lazy.
Yeah.
And also like then you like with all like the internal conflicts, it really kind of comes through because there's even like this charming comedy about even that as well, like going through his motions. So it's kind of like it is a great character. It's a very great, and it definitely balances out the fact that you're going with a really more zany superhero and Superguy, which is the everyman, let's be honest. And I definitely agree with that. But, I'm not the only one who agrees with all these things, because in issue 1, you had an impressive list of pull quotes, including from Joey Esposito, Mike Drucker. What was your reaction hearing the praise for like this book that you put out there and like, and out in the world, and then all of a sudden people are like, wow, this is amazing.
That was unbelievable. Like those words like made our, like when we got those quotes in, like I would send them to Joey and we're freaking out because it's just like, sure, like I expect like the people that we send it to, like maybe they'll have some nice things to say, but it felt genuine. Like it felt like, oh man, we might have something here, and people that we like respect, we respect their work, and like their words mean something. I don't know, to me that meant everything.
Absolutely.
Well, it's gotta be validation.
I wasn't even sure how to. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, by all means, you take it.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, it's still like I'm not really sure how to truly process all of that, even after all this time has gone by since we got those. It's still just, I don't know, I still get psyched out just thinking about it.
Well, like I say, it's a reflection of the work that you put in for it, and I think that especially fans these days with the expansion of Kickstarter and how easy it is to find new creative stories. I think when people catch Superguy, they can definitely feel that it's very DIY. It's very relatable on that sense, that when you're looking for something different, like, it stands out for all the right reasons. And I think it's just something that when you do stories as many as the creators that we mentioned do and more, that, you know, they're always keeping an eye out for something new as well, because you see so much in a day that you want to see something that really grabs your eye. And I mean, Superguy is a book that definitely, the minute you see that cover, you're like, oh my God, yeah, I can fully understand this. And then leading off of that success, how soon did the process for issue 2 start?
I was pretty much writing, and in terms of writing, at least, I had that ready as soon as the first campaign for issue 1 was over. It was just a matter of like, do we announce it yet? Like, I just wanted to see how the Kickstarter would do, and it did phenomenal. But art wise, we decided to take a little time before I think Joey started it, just to like get our bearings. And like, I think the most important thing out of that was to be like, okay, we need to like see a future for this for real, because people actually like it. People want to read more. They're asking for more. So we got to give them more. But like, until we kind of got that validation, you know, we probably would have done it either way. You know, like either way, we were going to keep writing more Superguy, making more issues. But yeah, I think it was always like right there that we're going to continue this no matter what.
Right on.
Definitely. I mean, and it's great that you did. And let's dive in a little bit more for issue 2, without spoiling anything. Obviously, what is we'll go with the famous elevator pitch. What is the elevator pitch going into issue 2 out of issue 1?
So a big plot point of issue 1, and we mentioned it in the one shot, is that, as I said before, Superguy had to save the president's daughter, but he didn't. So now we're going to see the after effects of Superguy deciding to not save the day, which is part of a bigger story, I guess, that we're trying to tell. So issue 2 is all about Superguy confronting, or Hot Mess. Her name is Hot Mess. That's the name of the president's daughter. She's confronting Superguy. That's her, looking like a beautiful hot mess. But you said elevator pitch, and I'm just rambling.
That's okay. No, go ahead. I mean, the elevator could have a lot of floors. Go ahead.
There's a Disney Channel original movie called My Date with the President's Daughter, and it's about like just like a schlub going on a date. He doesn't even know it's the president's daughter, and like, you know, like they just go. Has the overprotective father who's the president, and they're not supposed to be going on a date, so the Secret Service is following them. And I always thought that was just like funny and corny, and like absolutely not like a great movie really by any metric, but it's one of those movies like a lot of us watched when we were younger, and it just kind of sticks in your memory, especially because of the theme song. And I felt like no one had ever like parodied it or like talked about it really in media too much, and I felt like it was like ripe for our story. So the person that's on a date with the president's daughter is not Superguy. He hates her. It's Robot Guy. Robot Guy, again, is the hero. We want to see him. Yeah. He needs a love interest. Superguy, you know, he doesn't have time for that. So while it's not the main focus of the issue, we do get to see the title of the comic come to life at some point in the issue. But it's kind of like a knockdown, drag out battle with Hot Mess and Superguy for most of it, leading a little bit more into the super heroics, how like the first issue kind of leaned towards that, towards the end of it, where Robot Guy and Superguy get into this huge spat, not necessarily mimicking that, but kind of taking that to the next level.
You see, that's why Robot Guy is the hero that we need.
Yes.
Unfortunately, Superguy is the hero we got.
Yeah. So going back into Kickstarter, and especially we mentioned about, you know, it is a very norm thing in comics now for fans to go get, you know, being the norm. What is the biggest pro and con about doing a campaign like this for both of you?
Anthony?
Oh, I thought you were going to go. Sorry. I guess I would say like getting the word out there, right? Like there's so many Kickstarters. Everyone has a Kickstarter, you know, so to stand out is hard. And like, even if I post it, you know, like it doesn't really matter because so many people, not that it doesn't matter, but there's just a high volume of Kickstarters out there at any given moment. So we have to kind of hope that when we're releasing this, maybe there's not so many or less. And then also that people are willing to spend money. We're living in dark times for everybody. And like, you know, just to convince someone to, you know, open their wallet for Superguy number 2, I think Superguy number 1 didn't feel that way so much. This one, it almost feels like we're asking for a lot at like one of the worst times in history. But like, I think like with Superguy, that's part of it, right? Like going back to saying like it stands out from other comics, that's like at least what we were trying to do, right? I think Joey's art helps that so much. And for me, it's just like Superguy was always about, in creating it, like what don't I have on my shelf, or what's something I haven't really seen in a comic shop in a long time that matched this. I don't know. This was just something that felt like different enough to me that I wasn't like aping something. Like, yes, it has vibes of like the Tick and things like that, but the Tick's, you know, that's not a recent comic either, you know, like there still hasn't been something like that. So I don't know. I feel like people want fun comics. They want funny comics. And I think that's what's driving this the most, that like that's what you're going to get in every issue of Superguy. We're trying to make you laugh every page. There's jokes in there. We try to pack every kind of, there's visual gags, you know, like I don't know if I don't know how to describe my sense of humor, to be honest. I can't see from outside, but like I think that we're funny enough that like if it's not making you at least chuckle in your mind, then we did something wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like we're trying to make you laugh. We're not trying to make you think like, oh, like yes, the president is Superguy's arch nemesis, but we're not like getting political really. Like there might be shades of things that feel political and very well might be, but it's not that kind of comic. If you get my drift, like I'm just not, that's not the message, even though we very well could have a message about something. Like it's just not what we're going for with Superguy. So I don't know. We're just trying to pack a lot into it, and we're hoping that like that makes it stand out enough that people want to take a shot.
I would dare say if somebody doesn't laugh while reading Superguy, then I don't know what they're.
They got to check their pulse.
And not just chuckle, like out loud laughing.
Yeah, because it's deceptive, because you see the joke coming in a couple of the pages, and then it's just like it hits you, and then you're just like really laughing out loud. You're like, oh my god, like where'd this come from? But that's like the deceptive part of it too, because it does look like I love how you compared it to the Tick, because it does have that kind of vibe to it, but I don't necessarily sense that like a little bit. But it definitely has something that stands out, and especially too, I think comics can be, you know, especially dealing with superheroes now. It's always, I always hate using the term, but like everybody loves the anti-hero. Like, you know, we can just have the fun hero, and that definitely, there is a market for that. And I think especially bringing it to Kickstarter too, you give that option to it, and especially with the word of mouth. Like that's the one thing, when you have something that's so DIY as Superguy, people start spreading the word about it, and you're like, hey, did you read this? Did you read this? And so then when that next issue comes out, it kind of snowballs. Like we've been fortunate enough to talk to a lot of creators with that same kind of, you know, approach to their work and being really in touch with the fan base. And I know both of you are. So when it starts rolling like that, like the expectations do feel high, but I feel the quality of the work is going to stand out for this.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel like that's so important. Like to get, if you have like an indie comic, to get the word out, to connect with fans and try to find them, you know, like with the starting from the one shot that we made, I sent that to anybody I could. I had a digital PDF. I literally, if you liked my tweet, I would be like, hey, do you want to read Superguy? You know, like, and everyone does that, right? But I always looked for like an opportunity where I felt like I wasn't being annoying. Like, it seems like you're interested in what I'm talking about, right? So maybe you might want to read my comic. And that really worked, you know, like I wasn't no pressure, right? Like if I send you Superguy, you could read it. You don't have to read it, but you might, you know, you might not be able to resist Joey's sweet art, you know, and you just got to crack it open.
I
agree. I think to me, honestly, like Joey's art and how he designed these characters is like so important to just how it feels, right? Like I think with this next issue and with the Kickstarter, you're going to see we have a lot of cool variants and a couple pinups too. And so many different artists, you're going to see like their interpretations of Superguy are all different, but it all works, right? Like Superguy, like we're going to have to do something with a Superguy multiverse or something at some point, just because like there's so many cool ways to like look at the character. But the way Joey has created him in Robot Guy, to me, that is who he is. And it, like, I don't think I could write his character and Robot Guy's character so well without that. Like there's something so alive about Joey's art to me that, again, like it does make writing easier, because like, even if I think of like a new villain, just a name, Joey's like, yeah, I got it. Like, and it always works. Like we always land on something that somehow is the same visual image in both of our minds. And if really we're the only two people that get that and love it and, you know, are reading it and laughing, then it still works for me because I still love it, you know?
The same.
Yeah.
And you know, it's great that things find an audience, and Kickstarter is a great place to find an audience, as we pointed out. But you know what else is also a really good place, because you get a lot of extras. You get a lot of things that are, and like every campaign has extra incentives. So what are some of the extra incentives people can expect from this round for Superguy?
So we're going to pretty much keep it very similar to the first round. So with the first issue rather, so you're going to get a few variants. I think we're going to do 3 or 4. It's not finalized yet. It's
Okay.
at this point in time, but I'm still waiting on art from a couple of people, but we're going to have a couple of pinups. What else are we going to have? So we in the first Kickstarter, we did like a sticker set. So we might have something like that. I feel like whether or not people like it's not like the main draw, but I feel like I love having Superguy stickers, and you know, it just adds to what we have. And you know, I think for this one, we're not going to get too complicated. But the biggest thing is that, okay, so you might have missed the first Superguy Kickstarter. This might be your first time hearing about Superguy, but we have a lot of Superguy already out. We have a one-shot and a one-shot that's 10 pages, and our first issue, which is 28 pages. So for this campaign, we're also including like this super deluxe edition, physical and digital. But what's special about this is a physical edition with a new cover by Joey Murphy. And it's going to include the one shot and the full 28-page first issue together. Mm-hmm. So I think it's a great way for anyone who's new to Superguy to hop in. But also, if you've already bought everything from the first Superguy campaign, you have something new to add to your collection. And to me, that's what I'm trying to focus on for this campaign, really, because at the end of the day, I want people to read Superguy. Like, if there's any way I could get it in your hands, like, I'm going to try. And I feel like I just want it to be as accessible as possible. So I don't want it to feel like, oh, it's a second issue, I missed issue 1. Like, everything in this campaign is going to have what you need to start Superguy or continue Superguy.
That's amazing. And that's what you need to, because you really want fans to, if they're coming for the first time, you want to really hit them with something. And if they're coming back, not saying you have to work harder for it, but you really want to make sure you keep that momentum going. Like when you have a fan and they're really falling in love with the story, like you really want to give them some more incentive. And like you touched upon, right now is kind of crazy times. So to have them open up the wallet and really support it, you really want to give them the bang for the buck. Now, if anybody's read Superguy #1, trust me, you got your money's worth. We're expecting that with Superguy #2. And one aspect, like we touched upon a little bit, was the humor aspect. So going into this round, and obviously I don't want to talk any spoilers, but did you feel more pressure to try making it funnier, or was it just kind of like, let it just be natural for both of you, like just in the creative process, just like, hey, this is where we're kind of thinking, and just roll with it?
I mean, it didn't really feel very difficult. I don't know what it was on like the writing side, but like reading the script, and like having been more familiar with the world since the first issue, I don't know, it kind of felt like it came more naturally in the second one. Not that it wasn't in the first, but it was just like sliding right back into like a nice, comfortable pair of shoes. And just like, there it is. Here's how it's gonna look funny. I know how it looks. Easy peasy.
Until you said that, I guess I wasn't even thinking that. But yeah, like at least at this point, the foundation was there, right, for like Superguy and Robot Guy. So like it was easier to think of lines for them and have a clearer direction of where they were going to go. But strictly comedy, like I'm always hard on myself. I'm not, it's going to be rare for me to be like, yes, I'm funny. Of course, I'm hilarious. You know, like I just wanted the jokes to speak for themselves. If I make you laugh, whether intentionally or not, awesome. Like if I try to bottle that, I think it's really hard, and I second guess every single thing I'm writing. So like, it is almost kind of like, let it flow and like, hope it's funny. But like, if Joey doesn't think it's funny, then back to the drawing board. But like I the creative process, like if I was writing my own story, I don't really have anyone to bounce it off of at that process. But at least if me and Joey agree that it works and it's funny, then it stays. And that's really the barometer that like I stick with, and it's worked so far really well. I think that I think Joey has gotten better as an artist, so I would hope I've gotten better as a writer as well. And
no, definitely.
I don't know. It's just so hard. I'm never going to be like, yeah, this Superguy 2 is funnier than Superguy 1. I don't know. That's up to you guys, but I hope it is.
And that's definitely understandable. And, and I think as the teamwork there, I think especially as you become more comfortable with it, in just like it just naturally comes there, and it's and I think that it's wrong though to say that I don't think that Joey doesn't from just looking at the book and everything. I don't think he ever looks at it like, oh, it wasn't funny. He just draws something in there that's funny, because like the visual comedy is just as good as the verbal comedy in the book. So I think you guys are just firing it on all cylinders, and like not putting pressure on yourself to like really deliver is the way to go. Like, you know what I mean? Like it is organic, and like you can tell. It's like once you try to do too much, then it's never going to be funny, if that makes sense.
Oh, I agree.
Like you're just trying, like I'm trying to do this, but like as you go through the process, even talking to you guys right now, as you're talking about it, you can feel like, oh, like this is just organically where we want the character to be.
Yeah.
And that's
100%.
Yeah, like I say, it's very organic going into it, but it's just, thinking about where the direction of the story is going, and like they say, the humor is such a big strength to it. It's just like do you try topping yourself, or you just let it come organic? And I think what you guys, that sounds of it, it's organic, but it's still gonna be funny as hell anyway, folks. So don't get it twisted. We're not gonna get all of a sudden, Wolverine-esque here, and Superguy is gonna be going around, or he's on top of a rooftop there brooding like Batman.
That could be funny.
I mean, it could be really funny.
It could be really funny.
Yeah, but
like I'm actually now, the bad part is I'm now picturing because after reading I'm picturing the art that probably Joey would put up, and I can picture Superguy looking with his hair messed up like Wolverine, not Wolverine mask, in the underwear.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Just take that if you want to, because that might actually be amazing.
I mean, that's exactly how I saw it in my head too. You just described. I think we're onto something here.
I'm just like, never mind. This could be the turn the corner now, but it wouldn't be. But that's the cool part about it. And I think, even talking with you guys, like you can tell like the love for the characters and how the characters are developed, including like we all agree that Robot Guy is the breakout star of the book. And the question is coming up in issue 2. Do we have another kind of breakout star that you guys really were feeling coming into there without spoiling anything?
Definitely Hot Mess, and like she is the star of this issue.
She is definitely heavily featured. That is for sure.
Awesome.
And honestly, I was blown away by all the art Joey did for Hot Mess. Like she's such a silly character, and like like in elevator pitch for Hot Mess is like she's basically the Hulk, right? She's just like our universe's Hulk, but like it's not like I'm so angry and I become this thing. That's just who she is. She's mad at Superguy, but she still has feelings. She's not like a complete monster. And like we play with that a little bit. There are parts in the first one and then parts in here, like, yeah, it's a comedy 100%. But like I think for me as a writer, like what works in comedies too is like they're like it's definitely would never veer towards like dramedy. I would never say we get that serious, but that there are moments, there are like softer moments. Just because, yeah, exactly. That's the word. Like we try to put heart into this. Like Superguy is not likable. He's not a guy that like he's relatable, but like he's a piece of crap, right? Like the things he says, the things he does, he's purposely meant to not be liked. He's the star of the show. Everyone seems to like him. Why doesn't the world love Robot Guy? We play around with that. Like, like we do it in a funny way, but Robot Guy is like, I'm saving the world and people still love you. Like, what is happening here? Like, so that's like the big thing with Superguy, right? Like you're not supposed to like him, and even though he does nothing, people still like cheer for him and worship him. And we're gonna get deeper into that too. We drop very small things about Superguy's past in this one. A lot of people have asked, like, what's Superguy's real name? How did he get his powers? To me, it's not 100% that important to the story, really. Like, it really isn't. We'll answer those questions one day, and it might not even be the answer anyone likes or cares about. But again, we touch on things that like might be found in a normal superhero comic, let's say, because I think also, and as this is my second issue and Joey's second issue of a comic, so that's like counting the one shot, three issues of a comic, we're new to this, right? So I also feel like we have something to prove, and in that way, I also want it to be like, yes, this is funny. How many funny comics are we finding out there? But also maybe there's these moments where it's like I could see Robot Guy as a bona fide superhero. I could see a superhero saying these things, having these feelings. So that's one of my like I still, number one for both of us, comedy comes first, visual gags, every little detail Joey throws into the back. You have to, every Superguy 1, Superguy 2, look at every panel. Joey has things in there that I'm catching to this day, because he just throws in all these things that like, I'm like, wait, what? Like what? Details that I wouldn't even think about. I don't know. We're just trying to pack so much into it. Like you said, bang for your buck, because like there's a million indie comics out there, but this is 28 pages of pure action, fun, comedy, something I don't think you're getting from any other publisher. But I have to mention this because this is new for us and I don't want to forget it. Apollo City Comics. Superguy is now under the banner of Apollo City Comics.
Okay.
They're an indie group. They make a lot of great like punk, stoner comics. Like it's a flavor that totally matches the vibe that me and Joey go for. Maybe not necessarily Superguy's vibe, but he fits. I don't know. He just fits into that aesthetic in a lot of interesting ways. So shout out to Apollo City Comics. We're going to be doing a lot of cool stuff with them. But I definitely wanted to let the world know like that's a big thing with Superguy going forward. So you'll see that banner on the comic, and you'll probably see more from me and Joey with Apollo City. So look out for that.
Awesome news.
Which is super awesome. And I think the best part about, like you were saying, that Superguy is an asshole. Like at the end of the day, he is an asshole, but he's a funny asshole. So that's why, we all know that one person. Hell, I might even be that person. But my point of the matter is that it's a very relatable character. And I do like how you pointed out that you're not doing a dramedy, but there is definitely moments of drama. Like I agreeing, like the reflection, like the reflection that Robot Guy is having about like, people not loving him or whatever, or even like during their fight scene, like this doesn't give a lot away, but there's a part in the fight scene where they're both laying there and like Superguy's just like, I don't know if I want you to be my sidekick anymore. Yeah. That doesn't hit as a joke. It hits like, oh, this is kind of like serious. He's being serious, yeah. But there's a lot of funny around it to kind of mask, the seriousness, but it's still like, it still drives the story forward. It still brings you in, which is cool to have, especially like in between the laughs, if you will. And I really kudos to that, which is really cool.
Thank you.
So outside of Superguy, is there any genre that you both want to kind of dabble into next? Is there like maybe horror, maybe action, something like that?
I'd like to do some sci-fi. That'd be cool.
Okay. Definitely see that.
Yeah, I love sci-fi.
I guess there's a little bit in Superguy, but like straight up sci-fi would be some fun.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point too. There is like Robot Guy's past to consider in Superguy as well. Like we have so many ideas for future stories, but that's kind of like the C story, if you will, like going on like at the end of issue 1 and then again at the end of issue 2, you're going to see what's going on Robot Guy's side of the universe and like how that connects to Superguy. And that's something that hopefully if we get to make that many issues, like we're just planting seeds for later on, but also just like it's not like important to the story, but it will become important to the story. We're not trying to make it like a throwaway, like it's supposed to kind of feel like a post-credit scene too, just to add some beef to the comics. And we like that. I don't know. Some people might not like that, but I love the post-credits. So like,
as soon as you said that, I was thinking the same thing because that's how it plays out. And like, and specifically like when post scenes were great, like we're talking like Infinity Saga, where you're actually like, it's a good way to introduce like the big bad, if you will.
Yeah.
That's what the feel I got, because like you have the, like, I'm not saying it's not entertaining because I think the whole book is entertaining, but you have the whole entertaining story. And then you have this last page where, the mood comes into like almost ominous, like this is where we're going. And so that's really, really cool. Cause I thought the same thing when I was reading. I was like, I was kind of hoping that the next issue wasn't going into that. I was hoping it was kind of like a post-credit scene, like, oh, we're getting a peek behind the curtain to something later. Cause it's really, it'll blow your mind. And if you haven't read it, get your hands on it, read
Absolutely.
it, and trust me, you'll feel the same exact way. But let's have some fun with this next one. Cause IPs be damned. We're living in a world where we don't have to worry about things like copyright and paying for things, because like right now in the world of comics, DC is running their KO tournament, and so I have this in two parts. So if you could pick any character from Superguy to represent the Superguy universe in the DC KO, who would you pick and why? And then I want to follow it up with, if you could have your own crossover, and it doesn't have to be necessarily from DC. If you could pick, or even comics, you could go anywhere in pop culture. You could do whatever you want. What would you want to cross over with Superguy?
Ooh.
I was actually going to ask that one.
Ooh.
That part too. That was coming up on me.
I love those questions.
Those are good questions.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Do you want to go first, Joey?
You go first. I'm still trying to think. What was the first one again, real quick?
The DCKO.
Those both so good. I'm just like, right. Okay.
Who would represent
All right,
who
yeah,
would
you go
represent Superguy in the DCKO tournament?
I think it's got to be Robot Guy. He's the one who would step up. He'd be like, I'll represent. Like, Superguy's
Oh,
gonna
absolutely.
take credit though. If Robot Guy wins, everyone's gonna think it was Superguy the whole time. He's gonna act like he just came out of the portal or something. Like, it was me.
Yeah. Superguy walked towards the portal
Yeah,
and then shoved Robot Guy in.
It was the right thing to do. And then
Yeah,
who
I
would
would
Robot
have to
Guy
agree. It'd be
face?
Robot Guy.
Who would? Well, there's so many options there, but the other question would be, who would you want to do a crossover with in the world of Superguy? If you could have any IP, who would you cross Superguy over with?
Ooh.
I don't know if this is my number one answer, but for some reason, one day I started to write Superguy versus Alien just to see like what would happen in that situation.
Oh my
Well,
So
god.
maybe that, like a
That's
xenomorph
awesome.
confronting Superguy, and like Robot Guy would not be involved in that story. It would straight up be, what if Superguy was
he
trapped
would-
on a spaceship?
And then runs into aliens. Oh, that'd be great. That would be awesome.
Oh my god. I mean, how can you top that?
I don't think you can, because I was going to say, you normally you would go with something like, hey, you've made it when you do a crossover with Archie.
Oh, I would love that.
But
That's true.
I would also like to see that, because I could only imagine Superguy in Riverdale.
Yes, with Jughead just
That would be
chomping down
amazing.
Bert.
Hell yeah.
Be a whole book of them just sitting in a
Oh,
diner
man.
watching the world go by.
Ooh, that would be great. A great like silent comic, like no dialogue at all.
Oh man, now I want to see that.
Now, yeah, that's good. I'm all
Everybody
in.
I
buy
see
that
that now.
As a matter of fact, buy multiple Kickstarters, buy multiple books, so we can push that issue.
Yes,
There you go.
we're crossing over with everybody.
So let me end with
There you
one
go.
final question. We'll still have some fun with this one because Superguy 2, which we can't remind everybody enough. February 10th, you want to make sure that you are on Kickstarter. Get the link from the QR code. Make sure you get this book lined up because you don't want to miss it when it comes out. It is a sequel, if you will. So that being said, what is your favorite sequel of all time?
Ooh.
That's tough.
Empire
Off the
Strikes
top of the
Back?
dome. Yeah, I know that's like my knee jerk reaction, but it's like I almost feel like such a basic answer. I want a
it's
different
great.
answer.
I mean, it works.
That's how good it is.
Yeah.
That
no,
is
it's
a
hard to
that is
top
a
it.
hard one, because the knee jerk ones always that, or like Godfather Part 2.
Mm.
Yeah.
I was also thinking Evil Dead 2. That's a favorite.
Ooh,
Oh, that's true.
That's great.
Terminator 2. Ooh, Terminator 2.
Ooh, Terminator 2 might-
Aliens.
Aliens. Yeah. Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of great sequels.
Well,
I might go with T2 actually. I think that's what I'm going with.
T2 is classic. I mean, it was a genre-defining movement. You see, with all the special effects, like what that came after.
No, it's true. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, and obviously, Superguy might do the same thing in for Kickstarter comics. I don't know. I'm going to say probably because I'm signed up for it. I know
think
Rick
so.
signed up for it. Everybody else needs to be signed up for it. We can't stress it enough. You want a book that's got a dash of heart, but a lot of humor behind it, and we all could use a lot more of that these days. This is the book for you. This is no shilling. We're out here buying it. You should too, because it's a worthy investment. Anthony, Joey, thank you guys so much for coming on the show. We definitely have to talk to you guys again soon.
This was a blast. Thank you so much
Absolutely.
for having us.
Yeah. Thanks
Thank
for having
you.
us on.
Absolutely. And but like we always do at FLZ Zone, you want to make sure you're following us on all the social medias and YouTube, where you don't want to miss any minute of the content of your new home destination, a comics pop culture. On behalf of Rich and myself, thank you again for checking out FLZ Zone Presents. Make sure to go support Superguy 2, and we'll see you next time.
It's such waste of time, swiping left and swiping right on people you could know. Cause anyone who's worth a damn be worth way more than a picture could ever show. You could find the right light, find the right angle, and never find your soul. And it can feel like a losing battle, and this plot is full of holes. This modern way of finding love just makes me feel so alone. And I can't be the only one one. Sick of staring at my phone. So look up, talk to me. A better way to spend our energy. Just look up, talk to me. We don't have to float alone on the open sea. Don't know that I believe in the old time fable. Everyone has just one true love. All I know is you're across this table, and you're all I'm thinking of. So look up, talk to me. A better way to spend our energy. Just look up, talk to me. We don't have to float alone on the open sea. Talk to me. Talk to me. It's such waste of time, swiping left and swiping right on people you could know.